What's going on, YouTube? I'm Joseph, and I guess you could say this is my first video. And I didn't expect to be going off into, I guess you could say, deep waters, but I drive trucks primarily, so this was supposed to be a truck-focused channel, and I saw across social media, certain things across my timeline about men's mental health and the male loneliness epidemic. And it kind of hit me. And I just wanted to share and get back some public opinion, I guess, if you will, about that, because maybe it's just me, but a lot of that male loneliness comes from the fact that at this point, the Western, I guess you could say, world is morally bankrupt. And especially for the men, it's so morally bankrupt, it's crazy. It's July, and in the US, the current quote-unquote leader has known and strong alleged ties to a recently deceased pedo and sex trafficker. And that's crazy, because I'm just assuming for the women, how the fuck would you feel safe with that? Or knowing that we voted this into power? There was another young lady, I forget her name, and she turned 18, made an OnlyFans on or in her 18th year, not even a day in or a couple hours in, and made about $1 million in less than 2-3 hours. Like, men, we are really making it hard to, I guess you can say, have a leg to stand on. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of good dudes, a lot of good dudes, a lot of happily married dudes. And, we have men in positions of power. You wouldn't typically, if this was regular Joe Schmo off the street, you wouldn't let them within a couple 100 feet of a daycare. But because they've got money, it's okay. Or they've got position, it's okay. The corn industry, it's male dominated. I saw people in the comments going at this young lady, and I'm not saying any of this to defend women. I'm just looking at us as men. It's crazy. Like, you're going in on her in the comments, and there's another trend where you see young ladies just showing them as a stable, happy woman with family, kids, a husband, and then they show life when they partied. And, there's a lot more appreciation, but you see men dogging them in the comments. And it's like, does anybody not realize, like, the creators of OnlyFans were men. The owners are men. It's basically digital pimping legalized by the government. And I'm not, at this point, what's there to knock? But since the government is more than 70% male, it doesn't compute anymore that you target women for something men introduced into the space. And I know somebody's going to come here in the comments, oh, you're a simp, you're pandering, or whatever, it's fine. It is what it is. I'm here. But let's really take a step back and look at this. rather than hold your brother to account or friend or whoever, you'll be the first one to run off and grab a subscription. And the current leaders shows this. Like, you're with the shits, or we're with the shits. So, I have sisters, I have nieces, nephews, a mother figures, and if certain things these guys have done or are doing, you would destroy that person if they did that to a female in your family. But it's given a pass, or somewhat indirectly, heavily ignored at this point, because it's not directly affecting you. But at this point, we may get involved in a nuclear exchange, so it's affecting us in other ways, but I'm not exactly here for that. I don't know. I just jumped up here, and I just wanted to post. Right now, I'm in the truck. I took a break to make this video. I'm on my way to Oregon, and I have cats, so this is why you see the fur. And I live with cats. Well, this is the main guy. Say hi to the audience. No? Yeah. Nah, he's good. But with that said, God bless, Godspeed, take care. Just let me know what your thoughts are. And I think, that's it. If anything else comes up, I'll probably drop another video, primarily back to trucking, but this was just some off-brand or off-topic thoughts that hit my head, because right now, the times we're living in are fucking wild. You would think there would be stronger or more virtuous men, out combating certain things, especially this. And I'm not saying women are entirely innocent, because you have women who play their part in it, but for the patriarchy, because there is a disproportionate amount of men engaged in certain things. Like, what the fuck? And with that said, you want people to, let's say, rightfully come into the country. But the Federal Reserve is robbing us blind. And I say that because, monetary policy in the United States is killer. So this is the US debit clock. I just want to show you this. Not to get too boring, but again, this is the patriarchy at work. So we look pretty fucked up right now. And I apologize for the swearing. I'm working on it. My brother tells me I got to be a better host. $37 trillion in debt. If you have a kid who's turned 18, even before 18, once you enter the workforce, you owe $108,000 at the time of this video. The debit per taxpayer, meaning anybody who's turned 18 after today, owes basically just over $500,000. And again, if I were a man and I walked into your crib and told you your mom, your sister, your daughter, your niece, your goddaughter, whatever, any woman in your life, or any kid in your life for that matter, any boy, and I told them they owed drug money to me, And if not, I was gonna send men who were with the shits to come and get it. There'd be anarchy. But instead of really attributing to the problems crushing society, like it's soul crushing society, we want to put on masks and run around chasing down immigrants when the United States was founded by a bunch of immigrants from Europe through colonization. I'm not going down that, but I'm just saying, people, like, it's built up off of immigrants. Some came here, some were brought here forcefully, i.e. slavery, but you see the retardation, you see where I'm going, and whew, what are we gonna do to fix it? Because let's just say you had a man and you had a woman, and we looked at both these as two different communities. These are pretty fucked up attributes as men, as a collective, to have, to acknowledge, and to let play out in our current society. And then you expect women to take you seriously because there's a lack of morality, there's a lack of holding yourself accountable, there's a lack of integrity. So you could say for every 100 women versus accountability, for every 1,000 men, it's versus integrity. And by no means am I up here on the pulpit like I'm perfect. I'm just trying to point out the obvious, open up the discussion to like an open forum, aside from what I do when I run around the country. And like, maybe we can come up with a solution together or something that works, because the fact that you have certain things playing out in the government, in law enforcement, from the male community primarily, but you're not like taking heed to like real things that we've done wrong, whether directly or indirectly. It's kind of crazy. Like, you look crazy. Like, make it make sense. But anyway, that's all I got. And I guess if you got something out of this, like and subscribe. If you got questions, feel free to leave something in the comment.